Now we're gonna talk about the most exciting part of the Start APS. That's the work planning. So in work planning, we split this model in several other ones, like work instructions, schedule jobs, work orders, work histories, encounters. I won't talk about guarantee claims because I'm probably gonna remove that from here because I don't remember so far if you're gonna keep that one. But yeah, but this is the most important ones: the work instructions, schedule jobs, work orders, work histories, and counters. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start from the work instructions. Work instructions are what you can say the exact information we have from the book. So let's suppose we define a work instruction to clean up some specific equipment, or maybe the fuel oil change maintenance. That probably are the same in the whole vessels, in the all vessels. So you can create one work instruction, and this work instruction can become a scheduled jobs based on these work instructions for all vessels. So that means if in the future I decide to change the instruction itself, once I do that from that module, this will automatically update all scheduled jobs based on this work instruction. So let's take one for example. Yeah, as you can see, that's a small instruction that called electromotor for cargo compression 2000 hours regreasing. Okay. We can define from the officer what's the job class. So that's just a group or a classification of this instruction. Okay, what kind of a type of job is that? Okay, this can be created in these common codes. So that's all type of jobs we have created in IPS right now. Of course, you can remove some of them and you can change that for another kind of name that to fit your internal procedures and so on.
Yes.
Okay. Have the job grade. That's also something you can classify. This maintenance, the department. We don't have access from here. Yeah, have that. That's all the departments we have in the vessel. Okay. And of course, the description of this maintenance. So that's a basic maintenance that just need regreasing the quantity for the bearing and that information. Okay. And this one have a suggestion of a schedule. So you can see from the schedule tab that you have here every 2000 hours. Okay. Based on the counter, that means the running hours, okay, for the regular operation mode. Okay. So let's suppose you guys receive a new vessel from the shipyard right now, and you'd like to apply the same schedule job for that new vessel. You can just click in schedule.
Okay.
And that's gonna create a wizard. That's you pop up a wizard, and you can just next and follow the steps. So I'm gonna use this work instruction as a basis for this my schedule job.
Right.
Okay, that's the information that we're gonna take from the work instruction, and you can of course add a little bit more if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, that's based from the work instruction. And you can, for example, apply for that vessel specific, you can apply the same work instruction for another equipment, or more than one, for example. Okay, connect resources and spare parts and documents. I'm gonna skip that for a while. Okay, I'm gonna create a separate schedule for each equipment. I'm gonna explain what this one schedule job roundabout means afterwards. Okay, and keep the same information and define for each equipment the first due date value. Okay, as this is based by counting, so the first due date is 2000, 2000, and I'm gonna finalize that. So if I go to the schedule, let me just hold on, back to instructions. We close that to open again. If I open this schedule tab, I can see all scheduled jobs that is using this work instruction as a template. You see? So I can see that these three equipments are using this schedule, this work instruction. And if you go, for example, for this one that you create now, that 865, let me back to show everybody here. So I can see that now I have the schedule task, the schedule job I create from that work instruction. And as we can see, this is based from original instruction that we were looking at before, and that's the basic information that generate these schedule jobs. And here's the additional description in case for that vessel specific they have any kind of particularity or any kind of extra task to perform this maintenance. So maybe it can be report to your superior and PDF doc to office. So when people print out that on board, this schedule job, Singapore didn't import the report definitions. Well, yeah. But as you can see, this is one of the schedule jobs I create based on the work instructions. This one, I can click here to open the work instruction itself. And now once I change that, I cannot change that because I'm connected to the vessel database, and only people at office can change these work instructions for this test environment. So if I change this information here in the future, automatic all vessels and all scheduled jobs automatically be updated. Okay.
Okay. How do you get work instructions from the work?
Yeah. Let me just change the database here to the hub. Just 1 second. So I'm going to connect to the Office database. Okay, I can just right click in the grid, new org instruction. Okay, so that's you open to a new wizard. So you can see it. You can tell to the system that's you'll be create only for that vessel, to the whole fleet, or to a specific group that you don't have now. But you can say, okay, only chemical vessels gonna see this work instruction.
Right.
Oh no, only this vessel itself. Oh no, the whole fleet can have access because that's a common maintenance for the whole fleet. Because that's a common equipment like V8F portate radios and so on. So you can make one specific change battery, for example, to the whole fleet. But if that's something particular to a specific group of vessels, you can just assign that to a group. That case, I'm going to just create to the vessel. Next. So in train, that's the code. So first, and here in the work description, please okay, so I can create my work description.
Right.
Next, I can define what the operational mode. I'm gonna just use the regular one. And I'm gonna say that will based by counter. When I select counter, automatically the system gives me a alternative interval type. That means I can have 2,000 hours and maybe 3 months. But if I have only the normal calendar interval, automatically that's disabled this alternative type of maintenance. So I'm gonna keep the counter. Okay. The schedule will be dynamic. What the difference between dynamic and fixed? Let's suppose that this is a 1 month job. Okay, let me just put here. One month or 1,500 hours job.
Sorry. Why is dynamic or
What's the difference between dynamic and
Yeah.
fast?
I'm gonna explain right now. Let's suppose that the overdue date is today, 6th of March.
right?
Okay, and I just performed this maintenance. I'm gonna just do this maintenance Saturday. That's 10th of March.
Yes.
So as that's dynamic, the next due date will be 10th of April. Okay, because that's it's dynamic. If I got that fixed, okay, if I perform that the 10th of March, the next due date will be the 6th of April, because that's fixed. Doesn't matter the date you perform that. I'm gonna always keep this the same interval of maintenance.
So
This more or less. This
so
is more or less more used for the class related jobs,
right.
where you cannot, because we have this class inspection window, and if you start to put all this as a dynamic, probably you're gonna be out of the window, and so
Right. So for the class will be fixed because the class is coming on that day, and that's the only day that they need to do it. If it's
yeah,
if it's dynamic, the date will be pushed over from the
the latest one, yeah.
right. Okay.
So if the next month you back you make this maintenance in 60th of April again, before the job get overview. So the next one will be 6th of May. So that's the dynamic, because you can just go ahead and back according you perform the maintenance for this maintenance.
All right.
But if you put fixed, that will be keep the same date. But of course, that's going to follow this interval every time.
Right.
Perfect.
Yes.
Next. It's a project type. I'm gonna skip that one as well. I can connect spare parts, resource, and documentation. So that means when I create a new schedule jobs based on this work instruction, automatically this will suggest me the schedule jobs. Sorry, they will suggest me the spare parts. I inform the system here, or maybe they're gonna print out the documentation, add it to this work instruction. Or I can add the resource as well. I can say for this work instruction, you need 1 hour of the chief engineer, maybe 3 hours from the electrician, and so on. Or maybe 5 hours from a third part company, and so on. So you can add all these resource you need to perform this maintenance. That's we are creating as an work instruction. Okay, I'm going to skip that for a while. Okay, I put that's a priorities normal. This is a make requirement. A planned maintenance system. But we don't have job grade set up here, and I'm gonna see that the engine will be performing this maintenance. This duration is only information how you expect from your experience this job gonna take before you perform that. So for example, for platforms and rigs, people use that information to create reports before go to a meeting to discuss how long they can stop a part of the rig. So they say, okay, this work instruction, this maintenance is gonna take 5 hours, so I need to close this session from the platform for 5 hours, and so on. So that doesn't have an interaction to the job itself, but for take decision and reports, this information can be used to at least have an idea how long that's you're taking.
Right.
Okay, next. And I can finalize that. So if I use the filter, here's my work instruction. It's only a work instruction. You see, there is no schedule based on these work instructions yet. Okay, I can change these informations anytime I want. I can add more information here. Okay, and if I decide to use this one, because sometimes, for example, I just create a way I would like to have this maintenance performance. I can just create the work instruction here based on the books, the maker books and the manuals on board, but that's instruction not in use yet. But the chief engineer probably one day he woke up on board and say, oh, I'm missing a specific maintenance, and before I ask people from the office to create that maintenance to me, let me check if there is any work instruction I can use to fit this maintenance I'm missing on board. So he can just on board go to this list of work instructions and say, okay, that one fits exactly what I need for the main engine, for example. So he can just go to schedule and then use this work instruction as a basis for my maintenance. So Okay, so let's follow the same information we got from the work instruction. Okay, I'm gonna select my main engine. Okay, next, 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 and okay, my main engine has now 80,000 hours. I can say that's okay, or maybe 1st of April. Okay, I define that. Finalize. I'm just closing to refresh. Now I can see across the fleet that the vessel Norgas Pataluma, for this technical account, that means the SFI structure 601000 has a scheduled job based on this work instruction. You see? Okay?
Okay.
Till now?
Yes.
Okay, and if I change that in the future, for example, and try to save that. Oh no, sorry. In the future, if I would like to update that, keep the change log history and distribute to the all vessels, I can just go to the action, update extrusion, log and distribute. That will open a wizard for me. Updating extrusion for the whole fleet. Okay, I'm gonna keep the same description. I can change the schedule for 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000. Keep the same information. This is the current work description. I can click new work description. Okay, add more information. Next. Okay. I can, in that case, ask you to reset the due date if I want, or just keep like this. That means as I change I change the length of this counter, the running hours, I can just reset for specific jobs. Okay, but as we don't have job yet here, next, and this will be automatic distribute to the all these scheduled jobs. So it doesn't matter if that's one vessel or one vessel with many equipments follow the same work instruction. All these scheduled jobs are gonna receive this new description. Okay.
Right.
Okay. If I just jump to schedule job here, just to show you this already my work planning. Okay. As you can see, that's based in this original work instruction. Here has been changed, you see, and here was the additional description that I have put before, or a part of this base description. Okay, so in other words, the work description is just a simple instruction. Follow your internal procedures or follow the manual from the makers, or maybe following some kind of a safety instruction and so on. And that can be used for the whole fleet or a specific group of vessels, or maybe one specific vessel. People can just grab that information and create their own scheduled jobs on board. Okay?
Okay.
As you can see here, they have these folders here as well. Okay, in your database, they create these many work instructions split by these folders. So if you'd like to go one by one, you can see, for example, that's the class surveyor common work instructions. You see?
Yeah.
So, okay, now that's one is wrong, it's not here. I can just hold and move that to another folder, for example. Okay.
Okay.
No, I would like to create one more folder to maybe organize better this work instruction. I can just click right button, new folder. So training.
Right.
Okay. And I can say from here, I can filter and bring that one you have created now to this folder training. Okay. The same is valid for all home models, even the spare parts and consumables, and maybe purchasing as well, and the transportation as well. So you can have this per model. You can have these folders inside.
Right. Right.
And you can also, with these folders, just jump to the administrative parts. If I go to the iPassAdmin, I have this folder administration. Okay.
Yes.
And I can tell you that for the work instruction, this folder training, only the captains have access to this folder. Or maybe, let me, sorry, not visible, up to here, sorry. And only be visible, for example, in that case, for vessel chief engineers. So no one from the other kind of groups will be able to see this folder on board.
Right.
So, for example, for documentations, for example, you can define that only a specific group from the office can see what kind of documentation you have there in IPS. So maybe you can keep all your information about the vessel that maybe only you guys in office can have access, or maybe both of you guys can have access only. You can define from here. Okay.
Okay.
And the same for vessels. So only chief engineers can see the folder training from Petaluma. Okay. Save it. And then once that this change replicates to the vessel, people will automatically not be able to see this folder anymore. Unless. Perfect.
Perfect. You the replication right now is happening automatically when you switch from database to database, correct?
Yeah, we have some. I don't know. Let me see if we have access. It's possible to connect to the. Yeah, I can show you afterwards. But yes, you can create some Windows task schedule.
Yeah.
That calls some softwares, some application from here. That's the replication out and the replication in. And so we can set up from the vessel that every 5 minutes or every 1 hour he run this one, okay, and every 15 minutes just run the in application. So we can put that in the window task schedule, and so that's you can change it all
Right.
time you want.
¿Cada cuánto hacemos nosotros en el buque? ¿Cada 3 horas?
No, cada 8 horas.
We
12 días, 12 horas.
8 horas.
yeah, we do that in our vessels every 12 hours since we got we used to have a very limited connection with the vessel, a data connection.
Yeah, but you have VSAT on board, don't you?
Yes, we have.
We are talking about files maximum 300 kilobytes, and maybe maximum 1 megabyte file. So I think so. That's not being an issue to you guys. I don't know if I know that VSAT is very limited, but of course the high cost as well. But we are talking about the small files. Maybe if people don't attach any documentation to the working report, for example, that can be 50 kilobytes and maybe 100 kilobytes and so on.
Right. Okay, yeah. If it's we can do it once an hour. I don't think the crew will be working on the software every hour.
Yeah, but the most important is not the maintenance update itself to you guys, but for the purchase requests from the vessel.
Right, correct. Yes.
So if you put that at 20, 21 hours, that means that your purchasing department is gonna start to take action to buy something only every 21 hours.
Right.
So that's the point.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
So once we create the work instructions, just keep in mind that we are not obligated to have an work instruction, to have an work order, schedule jobs. You can, of course, create schedule jobs without any link to any work instructions. What we not recommend, because if you decide to change anything in the schedule job in the future, you have to go one by one and change that manually. If that's based in a work instruction, doesn't matter if that's 1 or 1,000 schedule jobs, you just need to change the work instruction. That's only one. And that will be automatically updated, the 1,000 schedule jobs. So that's the reason we fully recommend you guys to always create a work instruction. And after that, we create schedule jobs based on this work instruction. So that's for your management perspective. That's to make your job easy from the offsite.
Right. Yeah.
Oh. Yep. Well, once you guys have understand what work instruction means, we're gonna talk about schedule jobs. That's this is the window where the people on board you're gonna spend more time, because here they probably gonna go once a day or 2 times a day to check, okay, the whole list of scheduled jobs. Okay.
Right.
We limited in the database just to show up 2,000. Okay, but you know that you guys have a 2,212. We can increase that if you want to 3,000. So that's you're gonna display all information to you here. Okay.
Right.
But the problem is not the schedule job. That's a fixed information. But when you go to the work history, if you put more than 2,000, that should take a long time.
Yeah. We understand that. If we want to see more than 2,000, if we want to see a history a long history, and from 1 year ago. What should I do?
So you have to use the reports, and probably have the work planning here, and have a work history details list. But you can open that.
That's because of the formats, right? Is that what kind of formats do you?
That's a crystal report.
Right. Isn't not the same that you were having problem with the PO?
Sorry, say again.
Isn't that the same, reporting or printing format that you were trying to print a PO, but you didn't have? It's the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
I understand.
That's it.
What
So
kind?
you can just export to a PDF and that's it.
Yeah. But you cannot do it right now because you don't have that part of the software.
Yeah, because actually this we just upgraded that to 353 yesterday, but the Singapore they didn't have time to update this report. But I can show you afterwards. I think so. Your production database maybe is ready.
Okay.
I can show you how to see that, or I can show you from my computer if you want. So just to have an idea.
No, yeah, that's fine. I was just wondering if we were the same thing, but yes, I understand now.
Yeah. And if you click in this delay button here, this delay checkbox, you can delay this information be fetched. So if I go to Oak Instruction, okay, that's delayed. So I can apply a filter before -10 to take 110 days back until now. And so press enter to get the filter.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So it's not wasting time on loading something that we don't really want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want to see all departments here. I can just put the delay and put my department. That's the engine one. And see all scheduled jobs that gonna be where the next two is do it before today, for example. So here I have a list of all scheduled jobs that gonna be overdue or it's already overdue until today. So we have here 459 rows. Okay.
Es una forma de como que agilizarlo.
Ok, pero yo puedo asignarlo por cargo.
Good question. No.
For example, the work, the cut time, the first pilot, or the chief engineer, or first engineer.
No.
It's possible to create a user como department.
From department?
Yes.
We'll be that with department, but if you want to send it to just one user.
En department tenemos una lista de departments, okay?
Sí.
But I want to create, for example, department, captain, department, first pilot.
Oh.
Yeah, but you have that already here.
Claro,
That's for, yeah.
Okay. Cargo, contractor. Sería como que diferente, ¿no? O sea, no el departamento capitán, no, sino sería como el puente.
Okay.
The bridge, creo. Do you have a bridge?
Para saber cuáles son las tareas del primer piloto
Claro.
y poder distribuirlas.
Because we have tasks for the first mate, and the first mate usually right now we are speaking with our experience with Amos, and the first mate just go to the bridge, opens his session, and he sees all the tasks that are there for him.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, we don't have how to. I understood what you mean. For example, I can select engine here, And for all this engine maintenance, I can have one that maybe is the second engineer can perform, the other ones that's the only chief engineer can perform. That's the class late.
Yes.
We don't have how to assign that here in the future. I can put here who can how many hours estimated to be used from the first engineer, but I cannot filter that for that information.
Right.
But yeah.
So it will be for department, not for user, for department.
For the from the that's the only way you can filter that. But I understood what I mean because I work with another software that they have this extra information. The department and the people from this department that can handle this maintenance.
Right.
But we don't have that here.
Okay, well, we can make it work with department, right? Podemos hacerlo trabajar con departamento porque es el mismo que el software. O sea, si es por el puente, tendría. For example, if I'm in the bridge, I'm the first mate, and I want to see all the movie the deck. No.
Yeah, they don't create a bridge department here.
No.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, let me check here because V8F. No. Gyro.
Deck.
Yeah, they send that to cap deck.
Yeah.
That's complete wrong. Yeah, that's not deck. But yeah, we can create a new department. You can create a new department here. Right button, new department. Okay. And afterwards, you can have to probably you guys have to clean up this database a little bit because that's the Norgais standard.
Yeah.
But you can just go to the schedule job itself, go to the update with logs, change the department, next, and change that to bridge. Finalize. So if I go to the change log, it's there. Me as a user admin, I have changed today this information. If I click here, I can see with the star what was the change, and I can see that was before and after my change.
Right.
Okay. So now if I filter by bridge, I can have this information there.
There is no batch action to do more than one at the time, right?
What do you mean?
Like if I want to change a bunch of scheduled jobs to
no, you mean two different departments at the same time?
Yes.
No, you can't. No.
I have to do that change those steps that you took.
Yeah, I have to select one and just check what do you have as overdue to now, and after that you have to go to another department and take the same information.
Okay.
In the Amos, you can select more than one department.
No, I think with the Amos you have to do the same thing, but still you can send different tags to different users
Yeah,
by user.
you mean connect the user to the schedule job itself?
Yes.
Mm,
But yeah, we understand
uh,
the star works with department, so that's
yeah, and what to used to do, because every schedule jobs have an work order to be completed.
yeah.
So I can from create I can create an work order to cover this maintenance, and I say to my first mate, please go to the work order 2018 00907. So he knows that that one is a work order that he would like to he must take care about.
Right.
But I don't remember if he can just select. No, you cannot select a user. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's
Yep.
quite good like it is right now.
Okay. Perfect. So from that point, I can select my workload. So that means I'm embarking today. I'm gonna stay on board for 1 month. So I'd like to see all my scheduled jobs during this time. So I can just go here to this do it before, next do, that's a filter. I can put plus 30 and I just click it all over, and this will automatically add in my filter 30 days ahead. So if I click OK, so I know that until I disembark, I have a 779 maintenance to be performed. Okay, so I can organize by next do Z to at to A, and say okay, that one's gonna probably be overdue. How can I say? Almost when I'm about to disembark, so I can perform this maintenance in my first week instead of the last one. So the people can manage their workload, just checking ahead how many maintenance they have to they have to do this period of time.
Right.
So you can also see from that ones what the ones is class related. Okay, so you can just filter by the external reference DNV. Okay, so I can see from that ones what are critical to safety. So I can make how many filters I want from that model. Okay.
Great.
Well, so once I filter and I find the schedule jobs I need to perform, I have to only to click over that. Okay. Sorry, I have to back to the satellite. I'm in the office. I'm not able to do that in the office. So hold on.
Okay.
Close.
How big is the database right now? Is it really small? Because I'm asking because it's really fast.
Have to check. I don't have this information now, but that's not a small database.
Right, because on the production version should be as fast as this one, or it could be a little slower.
No, that's the same speed because they are the same. They are this in the same server.
Right.
Just yeah, that's it. This one is the production server.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are just reading from the database sat temp, but over there the production one will be sat. It will be start APS. So
Right.
So we are talking about the same server.
Yes.
I don't know on board because are you guys planning to install the full SQL Server installation board or just the Express one?
I think that we have the full. ¿Tú me diste era full? Uh-huh. Yeah, we're planning to use the full one.
Okay, because the Express has some limitations.
Yes.
I guess 4 gigabytes of database and maybe 1 gigabyte of RAM memory. So that case you can feel some decrease of performance.
No, we will be using the full scroll.
Mm-hmm. So back to the schedule jobs. So let me filter for the engine. Okay, plus 30. So that's my workload until I left the vessel. Okay, so we're gonna take one here. That's a very simple one. Let's create a report. That's a handover report. Okay. These are the connections I have with the scheduled jobs. So that means that's gonna take 1 hour from the first engineer. Okay. From the scheduled jobs, I have all completed history for the technical account. The technical account, this one. Okay. Or I can see the histories only for that job. Okay.
Right.
Or the
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Oops.
Or the completely corrective history for this one. That means if that's this equipment have a corrective action, so you can filter from here. So as that's just a simple one, you don't have this information. Okay, so I'm ready to perform that. That's gonna be, let's get overdue 2 days ago. So I'm gonna report that. I'm gonna click in done. So that was the instructions. Have to follow. So and I've made with the other first engine. Report saved in our file server on board. Okay, so that was my report. Next, here we can ignore that information. That's also configured. We can just disable this screen as nobody gonna change that. I can just disable that if you guys decide to do that. Okay, so that means that you're gonna jump from this one directly to that one.
Right.
Where I'm gonna say, okay, that's today is 60th of March, but I did this handover the same day that's got overdue. That was the 40th of March. Okay, so that's completed. Okay, and from here I can go to the next place. Okay, or I can put that as on hold. That means missing spare part, or in that case missing computer and first engineer not on board. Okay, that's not can happen, but just an example. So if I set that as on hold, that's automatically the status component will be mandatory because all this bold title means that the field is mandatory. Okay, we can also set that in the database configuration. If you told me, no, Flávio, I would like to make as mandatory the spare part consumption, or no, I don't want the comments mandatory anymore, and so on. Okay, we can do these changes in the database configuration. When I report this work done, I can also inform a spare part consumption, or I can just add a timesheet. That means how many hours I use this from this guy that the system suggests me, or any other guy that maybe not only this one, because that's one's based on work instruction that suggests for an experience from someone that one chief engineer is requirement. But let's suppose, okay, the second engineer was used for this one handover. I can just add here that I didn't use any hours from this guy that was suggested 1 hour. I can just say I take 1 hour from the chief engineer, the second engineer. You see?
Yeah.
So okay, I don't want to add any suggestion for improvement and documentation as well, but I could add a document as well if I want. So okay, 1 hour for this guy, and I can upload a documentation. Okay. Next. And next. Okay. Automatically, the next do jump ahead. Okay, because we have a work order to cover this maintenance right now. Every time I report a work done for a scheduled job, okay, the system automatically create a work order. So you see, that created a work order as completed. And only the chief engineer and the captains can go here, okay, and move this work order to the history. Okay. So the chief engineer can just go to the work order and see, okay, let's see what Flávio has reported during this maintenance. So this is the, okay, handover, perfect. Okay, here what he has written, okay. Here's the connection, okay, he used no hours from the first engineer, okay, 1 hour from the second engineer. And here's the documentation. You can just click show document. Okay, that's the report, the handover documentation signed by the chief engineer and the second engineer.
Right.
Okay.
This is only link, no?
It's just a link. It's not adding the file to the database.
Now that's add the file to the database. This will be in the office after 1 hour used by replication.
Okay. So that will add to the transfer on the replication.
Yeah, so that will be saving the database forever. If you would like to see that information, you can just go to the hub that's off database, and you're gonna see that file there.
Okay.
If you'd like to save that out of the Start APS, just clicking show document, and you can just maybe clicking save here, because just open the Acrobat Reader behind that.
Yeah.
You can just save that and report.
Right. Our question was more about the we want to, as a good practice, not to build a big database with a lot of
Yeah.
attachments.
Mm-hmm. We have we can set up that in the database level. In that case, that's saving the information inside the database, but of course we can if I'm not wrong, you can create only a link. Add. No, let me just cancel here. Upload. Because you can save that out of the system as well, but I don't remember now. I can just take a note here. Just 1 second. Because you can save that in a folder.
Right.
For example, you can just save the reference to your file servers and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
So the database is you keep small, but all the files will be locally saved.
Okay.
We don't recommend that as well because if you have any kind of problem if your file server on board, or maybe if you'd like to see what kind of a report this guy has attached to this maintenance, you have to be on board. You cannot see
Yes.
that from the office. Yeah, so that's the
Right. We understand.
yeah. So once so this is the work order. So this is the due date. So this is the date I have reported. So automatically, when I create a work order, the start APS move the scheduled job 4 months ahead, and just keep the work order to cover that maintenance. So that means if someone try to find this handover maintenance here, you'll only be able to see that 4 months ahead. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see that again because the next one is 40 of
June.
July.
Oh.
July, yeah. But let's suppose I'm the chief engineer and I say no. This handover wasn't made in this date. Was made in the yesterday. So that was 50. So he can just open the work order. That's not in the history yet because that's still as a completed. He can go to the done again, but now over this work order, so he can make changes if you want in the work report.
Oh, okay.
And here, and he can just know Flavio was wrong. It was that day. Okay. Finish. And here is the new done date. If I go back to the schedule job, this was automatically changed here as well. See?
Yeah. Those IDs are automatically created and
The work orders is a sequence, database sequence, but
yes.
these IDs from the schedule jobs, that's up to you guys to define or to change and create a standard. Here look like they follow more or less
Yes.
the equipments SFIs. If I put 6.1, probably this one is for you see?
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
They follow the same
SFI.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what he probably, I don't know if I'm wrong, but if you look here, POPLM, so maybe they can, for example, I don't know if they use that as a filter. For example, I'm the first mate. I can put here FM, and that's gonna filter all the maintenance I have to me from the engine department. You see?
Yeah.
So maybe you guys can use that to try cover that requirement. See, the department, but who from this department is responsible to make that? So you can define some codes. So backslash and CDI or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe use the standard reference, but the standard reference that's from the no, that's from the technical account. No, you can't use that. Yeah. So once that's okay for me, I can just click here in the working order. I don't have access to report that. Hold on.
All right.
Yeah. Group properties. Great. Huh. It's missing this access. Okay. So as that's now is completed, me as a chief engineer, I can just go to the all work orders and a filter by my department, and all work orders that I can find as a completed, for example. Okay, I have checked that one that is corrected. I can just right click and move it to history, or I can just open that file work order to history, or if I'm the chief engineer and I'm reporting this maintenance, I can directly from this work done, I can set this flag before I finalize that. Because if I'm a chief engineer, I'm reporting this maintenance, and I don't need to recheck my own job. So I can just move that directly to the history. See?
Yes.
So in that case, I can just go here, file to the history.
Yeah.
And now
You are only able to see it by report then, correct?
no, I can go to the work history.
Oh, okay.
And I can just filter 2018. And now I can see there that we have moved that information to the history.
Okay.
See, that's my report. I cannot. That you see, that's I'm not able to do any kind of a change here because that's already in the history.
Right.
Okay. I have all my connections here, so I can just click here and I see the documentation if I want. The only change I can make in the history is upload documentation, because I can report that the maintenance has been performed today, and a third-party company, you just release a certificate or maybe a service report to me 1 month later. So I can just back to the work order and okay, now I received the documentation and import that to here.
Okay. Mr. Yu has a question for you for just 1 second.
Yeah, what is the difference? Scheduled jobs is a schedule for the next jobs, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and work orders is jobs to complete.
Yeah. Let me show you something here. Just one second. This one. Maybe it's easy to you understand. So as I explained before, instructions are only generic description. That when I create a scheduled job, the only difference between the work instruction and the scheduled job, that's the scheduled job is the maintenance plan itself, have a due date, and you can add additional description and use the common codes and intervals and so on. To cover the scheduled jobs, the star creates what you call the work orders that is generated from the scheduled jobs, okay? Or can be independent as a corrective work plan, unplanned, or just a corrective action.
Okay.
So, and the history is the work orders that was filled to the history, job completed.
All right.
So,
thank you. That is clear. If you need to proceed with the presentation, no, with the other presentation. Yeah. Okay.
Just one more explanation about that. I have I create one scheduled job based on a work instruction, and I define that the due date was 12th of June. Okay, I create a work order, and as you see, there's a 6-month scheduled job. So when I create a work order, automatically the IPS push the scheduled job 6 months ahead. So you see, 12th of December, and my work order still remains here as due date 12th of June. Perfect.
Yes.
So once I complete that, I'm gonna create a report of this work order, and I'm gonna say no. That's due date is 12th of June, but I report that I complete that in 1st of June. So when I move these work orders to the history, automatically the work order goes and update the next due date for the scheduled job. So work order in the scheduled job is not the same, but I can say that work order is a copy of a scheduled job, and it's the place where you're gonna report what has been done for that maintenance.
Okay.
So the scheduled job is only informative. It's only information for you about what must be carried on board, and the work order is the place where you're gonna report and put all information you need. Is okay or still confused?
Yes, I have more question. A scheduled job generate a work orders, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Work orders generates scheduled jobs. For example, when
No.
I have a maintenance wait. Sorry. A corrective work. Generate a scheduled job? No.
No, that's a standalone one. I'm gonna show you right now.
Only work orders.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
So actually, the work order can be generated from scheduled job. That's when that came from the maintenance plan.
Okay.
But if you have an unplanned maintenance, or maybe or maybe you have something you would like to remember yourself.
Okay.
You can just go, for example, let me see. I have to paint here. 331 cargo equipment. Lose. I suppose I have paint this loose cargo tank. Okay, I can select him from here, and I create new work. New work order.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, from the scratch. Reactive. So okay, so I can set who is responsible for that. I can put here just for my information. That's I can not applied. Let me see if I have unplanned here. Corrective maintenance, just to me use as a filter afterwards, if I want. Okay, next. That's the equipment. The equipment. It's I would like to make this corrective action. Next, and when I would like to perform that.
Yeah.
Next week, next Saturday. Next, and finalize. If I go to my work order right now, whoa, something wrong. See, I have a one in progress work order that's not based in any scheduled job. See, if I just go over here, I can see another one that's based in a scheduled job. This one's not based in no one. Okay, there is no schedule if you look at here. And here you have information that's a corrective work order. Okay. So I can perform this and move that to the history as well, but that will not affect your maintenance plan. You see? So let me take one here, 2007 history. Let me take the whole history. Where's the, for example, where's the corrective? Here.
Okay.
Look into the folders here. So all these ones are corrective schedule. See?
Yeah.
That's not based in a scheduled job, but someone make a corrective one, or maybe a predictive or corrective work order. So that's the only difference. So just recapping.
Yeah.
In other words, have a genetic description. The maintenance is part of your maintenance plan. That means that's according your make requirements. You must perform this maintenance in that period for that interval. Okay, but something happened unplanned. You can create a single alone work order to cover a specific maintenance.
Okay.
Maybe paint stairs, or maybe grease something, or fix a leakage, maybe change the whatever.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Because we have this concept of work orders. That's I don't know if that's 100% applied to you guys in the tank vessels, but for the platform and rigs, for example, no one have access to the schedule job model. Only the chief engineer or the maintenance engineer. So the guy came here and check all the maintenance, create work orders with right button here like this. Create work orders. Yes. And after that, he goes to the work order model. You see, that's requested. He print out this information and give that to a team. To okay, that's the work order you have to make this maintenance, and back to me in 1 week. So one guy is responsible to look to the maintenance plan and create the work orders and distribute to the whole people responsible to make maintenance in the platform and rig. So it's a work order. Like yeah. I don't know if in your vessel you have this kind of routine. To one responsible that distribute all maintenance routine to the people on board, or if everybody can go to the system and pick up your own maintenance. You guys knows how that works there? Or maybe you can.
I believe on you mean on the vessel side, correct?
Yeah, on the vessel side. If someone who's only one who's responsible to print out all the maintenance
No, no.
and look into the maintenance, or everybody can just go and try see what they can do.
Everybody goes to a computer and print out their tasks. They know what they tasks and they print out. I guess we'll have to do it by department, but it will not be a big difference.
Yep.
But yeah, they have access. Every one of each, every guy that has a task to complete has access to the system.
I see. And this is from the vessel perspective, but we also have some tasks from the off side. Let's suppose this vessel is on dry docking,
Yeah.
and I'm the vessel manager. Let's just close here, and I have a work order that I would like to report, not the chief engineer. So let me open as a I'm in the office right now.
Yes.
Okay. People create a work order on board, but I can come here, open that work order, and say, where is it? Where is it? Work order ownership administration. Okay, I can tell that this work order only people assigned to a specific position, or me, for example, can perform this maintenance.
Right.
So that's not what you guys were talking about before, but that's more or less similar to. But in that case, I can, for example, be the I don't have here. Okay, superintendent. There's superintendent here.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's me. So I can assign that to the superintendent. You see, assign to. Okay, and I can filter that, and I'll be the only one that can just report that. If I'm at office, I can just report that, and after that, I can just open and back the ownership to the vessel.
Right.
Okay. What I don't remember if let me see here. see if we have this assigned to here. Some yeah, maybe you can filter that.
Está cambiando la base de datos del buque o de la oficina. Ahorita está creo que en la oficina.
Let me do something here. I mean, I'm the satellite as well. Again, let me just do something here.
Sí, creo que sí. Maybe you don't see it because you are the administrator.
Yeah, but as you can see, I cannot searching for scheduled jobs
Right.
assigned to me, but me as a chief engineer, I can create the work order, and it says this work order from engineer. I can assign that one to my third engineer, for example.
Okay.
And belongs from different system. You cannot save. Okay. Yeah. Let me take one that maybe I create now. Yeah. But after that, he can just go here, assign to. You see?
Yes. Oh, so you can filter that.
Yep.
The work orders, the work order.
Okay,
So that's more or less what we were talking about.
Yeah, but this someone on board should create a work order first, and after that,
Sign it.
yeah, assign that to someone.
Right.
And what I understood from you guys that you'd like to someone to go direct to the scheduled job and try filter what kind of maintenance is assigned to him.
Yes.
But that's actually that's new for me. As that's not normal. People ask about that. I really forgot about that option.
Right.
But yes, if it's the chief engineer on board hold the maintenance plan, he can just create the work orders and assign to people he would like to assign, and that's it. You see?
Yeah.
So people can just use the filter, okay, engineer, and after that go to assign to
Correct.
the filter. Perfect.
Yes.
Let's fit to your needs.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So once I move that to the history, I can, for example, filter here all work history where the done since, and here's the filter in the done date. I can put -355. That means 1 month ago. Okay. As people, to avoid this delay, instead of clicking delay, people just organize the work history in dates. So this one, people start to move from here.
Oh.
And as I explained before, as I'm in the top of this model, I just can see in this grid line here, I can see only the first level below this model. So if I click here, look into the subfolders, I'm start to look into all these folders and show up here in the grid. So, of course, limited to 2,000 rows.
We don't know.
Okay, so from here I can just make some filters, get this information, move that to the Excel as well. Open that. I can check who has performed that. That was completed by Sergey. This probably is the chief engineer that moved that to the history. The original overdue date was 7th of March. And the guy performed that the same day. Okay. And all work description and failure report as well. What does this failure report? If I go to the schedule job again, when I start to report this maintenance, okay, because that's far away, that's not overdue yet. That's the reason he's giving me an alert.
Right.
Okay. Test. We have here the condition before the maintenance. If I put that, I can put that not working. Completely stop. Okay, so when I move that to the history, I can see in the failure report what the kind of a maintenance what kind of a maintenance was reported that the system wasn't working. So I can start to measure that and create a trending analysis. I can create reports over that and see, okay, last 3 work histories for this maintenance, people report that the equipment was completely stopped. So what's the best to do? To buy a new one or try to fix that again? Because according to the history, that's the people report that more than 3 times the latest 3 work orders. So maybe I can take an action and buy a new one instead of fixing this equipment. You see?
Yeah.
So from the history, you can, I don't know if you guys have any kind of a BI software. Do you have any kind of business intelligence software that you can extract information from database and do you have that?
No. Track information for what?
BI is applications that you can buy in the market that fetch the information from many kind of database. Doesn't matter if that's a maintenance system, it's a financial system, and bring that as a report, and so you can make graphics, you can make
like reports and formats.
Yeah, we call that business intelligent softwares.
We have what we have the graphic. Ese programa que usa Spectec para hacer los reportes, los printouts. ¿Cómo se llama ese? Ajá, de Spectec usa un programita donde ellos crean, ponen nuestro logo, de ahí cambian cómo manipula la base de datos para imprimirla. ¿Ah? Power Builder. Ajá, ese. We use a Power Builder for our database in Spectec. Well,
Okay,
in other words, Spectec uses Power Builder.
I see. Well, any questions until now?
No, Bill. Let me stop the recording for this section, and I'll start another one.
My opinion, my point of view, this is the easiest way to look your workload on board. So just go here, select the period you're gonna stay on board, filter by your department, and that's it.
Right.
Okay, and I start to create work order. I can, for example, open and start to report. Yeah, done and start to report, or I can just click here and I create a work order, or I can just select a range like this, create work order, for example.
Yeah.
See, and people used to love that. I don't like, but we have something called a starboard, where I can select my department. Where's the department here? Okay, apply filter, and that's gonna show me the whole maintenance plan. Okay, including the work orders.
Right.
So that means I have this thermal oil heater here. This is the work order, but that's probably not overdue today, because you see there is no overdue flag here. Let's just click to open that. Yeah, just only in September, so that's okay.
Okay.
So I have the whole list of jobs from my department here, and so I can see which one is overdue, is red. Let's suppose this one, I have this, let's do it yesterday. Okay, if I create a work order, for example, let me report that here. Test. Finalize. So let me filter that again. Now I have the work order. Is still overdue here, but now I have the green flag. That means someone has created a work order, so this is more or less under control. I don't know if you understood what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means someone saw that was overdue and create a work order, and probably someone is taking some action to perform this maintenance on board. So that's the reason that's still overdue, but green. And you can have more or less on a big overview and picture about your maintenance on board. I don't like this one because I think so that's too many information. And you cannot filter only for the overdue ones. So that's the reason that's not make too much sense to me. But a lot of people love that, and I used to work only here.
Yeah, I can.
So if you see here, you have we have 4 places here. You see this break line here.
That's weak, right? No, it's yeah, weak.
That's you can go to the, and I see the first place I can put the first 5 days or 7 days, the first week. The second column, just 2 months, 4 months, and 1 year. So now here, from here to here, I have 1 week, 2 months, and see I can see until end of 2018 what kind of maintenance I have to complete. I can also put the main hours graph. And if people save as connection the hours they need to perform this maintenance, I can see, for example, this one I need 20 hours for he's not showing up for my resource on board to perform this maintenance. So now overdue I have 670 hours in maintenance. You see, that information is taken from the schedule job. In connection, when the people put that the electrician for this maintenance, they can use 1 hour, the estimated hours, okay, one resource, and the cargo engineer fitter, same, one quantity and estimate 1 hour. So from this information, that man graph hours can be created in the starboard. Okay.
Okay.
Back to schedule job. If I know, for example, that for this specific maintenance, I always use a specific spare part, I can add here, add in connections. Okay. Next, I can add a material, a resource, or documentation, or a PO. Let's suppose to complete this maintenance, I have always to buy something or to purchase a third part engineer or whatever. I can add that here as a reference. In that case, I'm going to add a material. I can filter from consumables, services, provisions, and spare parts. I'm going to use the spare part. I'm going to take one. Doesn't matter the one, just for as example.
Right.
Can I say I'm estimated to use 5 of this guy? Okay. Of this spare. Okay. Finish. Okay. So when next time I start to report that maintenance, and I put here timesheet and spare part consumption. Didn't save, sorry. Save first. Strange. Houston have a problem. Because the system, okay, there's one open. Take another one here, just 1 second. Save, done. You see, automatically the system gonna flag that to me, spare part consumption. That's the system suggesting to me to use a no spare. And I click next. Okay, that's the estimation. Okay, I'm just using 2 for that to report. But that's not letting me to put information because I have no piece in the stock. But we can also, in the database, we can set to force the system to allow people to report use of spares. even if you don't have the stock in the IPS. Okay, so I took a bad example here, but because probably they blocked that in the database configuration. Not allowed people to report and use the items when we don't have that on board. Okay, but as you can see, the system itself will suggest you the spare consumption. Okay, and also you're gonna suggest you the time registration for time sheet for the resources involved in this job. So any report you can afterwards you can create, for example, a customized report where you can see how is the cost for this maintenance, how much in spare parts you have spent, or how many in hours and money you have spent as well with this maintenance, because you can define for example, engineer, you can hour rate, so you can know exactly how much this maintenance costs to you as a company. Okay.
Okay.
What else? Okay. The other way, the way I showed you before to create the corrective work orders, clicking in the new work and the work order. Normally, we use that for the corrective ones. But if something, for example, if you have a problem in this lift equipment here, and I'd like to create a work order and report that at the same time, you can just select the equipment, go to work done, and corrective maintenance. You see? I'm already reporting what has been done, completed. Okay, and I can directly move that to the history. For one reason, it's not letting me go ahead. Okay, department. Because department is mandatory, so that's bold. Okay, I'm gonna move that direct to the history. Finish. So I create a report for a corrective action, a corrective work order for this deck and platform in cargo equipment. Okay, so if I go to the history right now, in the filter for 2018, we have the maintenance there. Okay.
Okay.
Just continue what we were talking about. We have stopped in add connections to the scheduled jobs.
Yes.
And once we do that, this will automatically be suggested by IPS next time we try to make a work report. So as I was telling you before, you can, if you click in add, you can also add resource, documentation, and maybe a purchase order. So the system will always suggest you or print out this documentation. So let's see, for this work schedule job, you'd like to print out work permission, or maybe just a draw about this equipment. Drawing about this equipment. You can just add that here as a documentation, and you can print out that and force to print out that when you report the maintenance. So that's something you can do as well.
Okay.
Okay. A part of that, you have also something called comments that you can just both for OK orders and schedule jobs, you can add a comment if you want. So test of comment, and that should be saved that forever. Okay. Same for the OK order. If someone would like not only use the report but add more comments in this place, that's you can do that as well. Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, so with all this information, we finalize what we call the work planning. Okay, we came to until the work history. Okay, I showed you how to look into the history and find some corrective histories, or how to check a maintenance and what has been reported. Okay, you can also see the dates, who created this work order, who approved that, who has completed that, who has filled that to the history, original due date, the date the people said that this was performed on board, change logs, comments, and so on. And we can also upload some documentations, even that is in the work history module. Okay.
Okay.
So as we were talking before as well, we have two type of schedule jobs. One based on interval date time, and another one based in running hours. Okay. So if, for example, let me clean up this filter here. Engine, you can filter for interval type equal to counter. So you can see that even that's based on hours, we still have a date here. A date here. So as I was explaining before, we have one model called counters, where we have all the counters. Okay. So this is a free text ID. So people from oil and gas decide to keep the same equipment number. Okay. Here you have all counters for this vessel. And if you open one, for example, we have information about all reading from this equipment. Okay. All the equipment that are using these running hours to update the equipment. So that means once I put a new value here, this will automatically update all these equipments connected to this counter. Okay. So let me go to the 651. Let me just filter by counter. I'm gonna go to view options. I'm gonna just uncheck the counter. sorry, that's not the equipment. So when you open the equipment, you see that you have one counter connected to this equipment, okay?
Right.
And every equipment can have only one counter connected to, okay?
Okay.
In the top of the counter, you have the type, that's hour, okay? Standard reference must be a link between the automation system tag and the IPS. So probably if you have automation system on board, probably just have something like this, maybe. And so you can create this automatically update of your running hours. Just compare this tagging between IPS and the file provided by the automation system. And so the hours just come in automatically to the IPS. Okay. Have the sequence number, because what's the sequence number? When we go to the counter module, okay, we can create all these counters, doesn't matter the order, and the first engineer can say, oh, that's not follow my way inside the engine room. So he can adapt that. So that means he can create a sequence here that will be used when he click to report the hours.
Right.
So the start IPS gonna sort the equipment according to sequence. So he can maybe adapt the start IPS to the list he has in his hand, or maybe no, the first equipment when I start walking the engine room is maybe this one. So just put the first one in the sequence.
Okay.
The second one is the cargo boost pump.
So right now there's no sequence in the setup. So we cannot see a sequence. Let's say report on the main engineer can display it in orderly manner, correct?
Yep. So if he
to us to do it, if you want to use it, correct?
Yeah, in this case, as the sequence is 0, they're gonna start first. But you see, that's a start to follow a sequence here.
Yeah.
So that's something he can update himself on board, just to be in sync with the normal the way he used to walk in the engine room, or that list he has in his hand or whatever.
Right.
We have the maximum per day hours. That means that's the maximum hours people can register in the same day. So if he try put more than that, he gonna give he receive an alert. That's not possible. Average per day. Okay, so after all this calculation here, let's create an average. That's now is 14 hours a day. Okay, and here I can define the range I would like to pick up to make this average. Okay, if I just put here 30 days, so he's gonna use the last 30 days to make an average of the system up and running on board.
Right.
If that's a system that's not working, that's not in use too much on board, so probably the average start to decrease, and become almost 0. We used to extend that to 1 year.
Right.
So that's gonna take 1 year and make more or less an average to give you more approximated average per day.
Right. That's a value in days.
Yeah. Okay. So to register that is simple. Okay. Once I click in new values. Okay, next. I can say, okay, today is Tuesday, but I have a list from Sunday afternoon. Okay, and I can start to fill these values here. So I'm gonna take this one an example. 2580. Okay, so this works 7 hours. Okay, and finish. Okay, you cannot register more than 1 hour a day. So that means if I put this information today, if the date is today, I cannot change that anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so that's once a day normally. And people used to take these running hours once a week or sometimes once a month. I don't know the frequency on board,
Yeah.
but not less than 1 week. That's for sure. Okay. Once this is updated, as I did here, okay, now you can see the read date, okay, and all these equipments here got the different of hours. So that means the system will always add the latest reading and in this one and make a difference and so update the equipment. Okay, so if you go to the equipment, just double click over that. Okay, this will open. You can see that the system is in sync. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's quite easy. There's no main doubts about that. Once the technical account is updated, automatically there is a trigger behind that go to all scheduled jobs that is based on counter and so update the average as well. So that means the next due date, the estimation of the next due date for this counter scheduled jobs, that's based on this average per day. So if that's become overdue every 1,500 hours, and this equipment runs 0.2 hours a day, so we can estimate that to get 1,500 hours, that will be next year April, for example.
Right.
So if you start to use a lot this equipment and just become 2 or 4 hours a day, so automatically the scheduled job is gonna be updated with the next due date, and so probably the new overdue date will be October this year. So the next due date is always going ahead and back according to the average. Okay.
Right.
The most common problems related to the counters is when someone put the wrong hours. So he just by mistake he mistyped something, and when instead of put 2 he put 5, and so he need to fix that. So what you have to do is open the counter, go to the reading. I don't have access to Jesus. Yeah, I have no access.
You don't have access as administrator, so you have to put your rights.
Yeah, I have to go there and change that.
Okay, okay.
Hold on. Work planning, counters, can hold back. planning counters. Okay. So okay, this was a wrong input here. So I'm gonna just select that, delete. Okay. When he do that, you automatically update all scheduled jobs again and all connect equipments. Okay, I can save that. And so I came back to the new values here. And I'll put the correct hour.
Right.
Perfect.
Yes.
This is one of the problems that you have as is common on board. Next problem is when for some reason the counter get broken, and people have to change that on board. So that means every time they're gonna check this, for example, this one, he cannot see the 3,455 again anymore. He has the number start from 0 because he changed the counter. So he must came to the counter in the IPS insert, and I can put here that yesterday I have changed this counter that time, and now the new value is 0. Okay.
Right.
So he can continue to input more information here. So that means I can just go to the new value. And from yesterday to today, we got here 10 hours. Okay, 10 hours here. Okay. If you look, the equipment has been updated as well. Let's read date today. So we still keep the same hours correctly. Okay, just the counter has been changed.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes.
And the last scenario is when for example, we have an equipment that follows the main engine counter, for example. Okay, let me see. Normally, let me take one here. Yeah. No, let me injection the time. Take one more. Yeah, I don't have a good example. Okay, I'm gonna just take this one. Doesn't matter. Okay. All these equipment follow the main engine running hours, but let's suppose for any problem or breakdown on board, the people just change this equipment. So that means this equipment has no hours anymore. Okay.
Okay.
Just starts from 0. So what you have to do is open the equipment, go to the actions, reset count values. So from yesterday, this is a brand new equipment. And I'm gonna force, okay, to restart all scheduled jobs, because probably the next interval probably that will be more than 8,000 hours. But now we are resetting this equipment, so we have to reset the next do value as well. So when you do that, the counter get a new value 0. Okay. And if you go to the scheduled jobs and I filter by what's 90. If I filter for this one, 7. Okay, that was a bad example because there is no. He has a counter, but this equipment doesn't have any counter scheduled job. But you probably could see here that this next due date here should be updated to the most length that you have in the scheduled job. So I took the wrong example, but I would like to show just to show you that after that, all the scheduled jobs were reset to the initial interval.
Right.
Okay. So that's the cases you can have with counters. That's wrong or mistype hours that he can just go there and delete the reading and insert the reading again. When the counter itself broken, so he'd have to reset the counter, or when the counter is okay, but the equipment that follows this counter has a breakdown, and you have to change that on board, and also have to reset all the hours for this equipment here in IPS.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is all about the work planning.
Yes.
So this guarantee claims I will not talk about this right now. I have to check if Singapore if this is something I have to explain to you guys as well. If yes, I can just talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this is all you have for the work planning. So basically, people on board, they're gonna every day go to the scheduled job, checking the maintenance that gonna be overdue during this period on board. He have a weekly to update the running hours and so on. They should report the scheduled jobs, create a work order, fill that to the history, and that's all. So, and a part of that, we have the reports, but these reports are not updated to this version 353. I can check. I can show you guys tomorrow. But you can also have some standard reports for work planning, for example, like work history. So you can print out a PDF with all history from 1 year ago. Okay, you can have a scheduled job list. So you can just print out in the PDF the specific range of scheduled jobs. Okay, all overdue jobs for a specific department and the work order, so you can print out all overdue and keep that in a paper if you want. Counter lists as well. You can just print out a counter list and bring that with you and walk in the engine room to put the new hours from the running hours.
Right.
So we have a lot of reports that after we implement that in your production environment, you can just go one by one and check what the reports fit your needs and so on.
Right.
Perfect.
Perfect.